As the door swung open, Amara unexpectedly entered a room that resembled an altar, draped with red fabrics and dominated by a white cross. Ngozi and Chifobi were in the middle of a ritual, dressed in white and holding a small calabash, were startled and stopped their chanting to stare at her. They were kneeling in front of Ekwensu, the snake who seemed to be interacting with them. Frozen in place, Amara watched as Ngozi quickly stood up, shut the door behind her, and sternly instructed, "Sit down and don't move." Amara obeyed, sitting down quietly. Ngozi added, "Stay still, or Ekwensu will strike." With a deep sense of fear, Amara knelt down as the python Ekwensu began to approach. Ekwensu slowly wrapped himself around her, moving from her toes to her head in a ritualistic manner, before finally unwinding and moving away. This encounter was meant to erase her memory of what she had seen. Shocked by the experience, Amara fainted. Ngozi and Chifobi quickly carried her to another bedroom. A few hours later, around 3 in the morning, Amara woke up to find Chifobi sitting next to her. Feeling relieved and comforted, she leaned towards him and said, "I knew you wouldn't forget about me." Chifobi simply smiled, offering no words. At sunrise, Amara, not remembering the rest of yesternight, tried to discuss her car with Chifobi. He quickly cautioned her, "Don't speak badly about my wife." Yet, he softened a bit and promised, "I will get you a new car." Following his usual pattern, he gave Amara some money and had his guards escort her home. A week later, Amara found herself traveling back to her village to visit her mother. However, she noticed something. Unlike other days, where different calibers of men couldn't take their eyes off her, all the men she encountered didn't look at her twice. This experience got her worried, but she didn't think much about it. Immediately she got to her village, she went to see her mother. Amara's return home was met with a mixture of joy and concern from her mother. The villagers had been harsh, ridiculing Amara's mother because of rumors that painted Amara as someone who disrupted other people's marriages for money. Whenever Amara's mother tried to buy something at the market, she would hear whispers, "Are you using the money your daughter gets from those married men?" Someone would ask mockingly. Another would say, "Our daughters are studying at university, but yours is busy breaking homes." These words stung because they were partly true. Amara was well known in Sunville, and students often brought tales of her back to the village. This gossip had taken its toll on her mother, who had stopped attending local women's meetings to avoid the shame. So when Amara stepped out of the keke napep, a tricycle, and into her yard, her mother was already on edge. But suddenly, Amara started screaming. The memories wiped by Ekwensu rushing back to her like a whirlwind, gripped by a severe headache and fever, as if waking from a nightmare. Her mother and the keke driver rushed to her aid, helping her into the living room. Once Amara calmed down, she began to unravel the bewildering experiences at Chifobi's party. Her mother listened quietly, her calmness surprising Amara. "Why are you so calm about this?" Amara asked, her voice filled with a mix of fear and confusion. Her mother sighed deeply, tears welling up as she spoke. "This is why I begged you to come home last week. I'm ridiculed every day because of the choices you've made. I can't even face the other women in the village. I was so desperate that I called the prophet to pray for you." Amara rolled her eyes at the mention of the prophet, but her mother continued. "The prophet saw a dark cloud over you. He gave me blessed water and a rope, which I buried at the entrance where you collapsed. He said it could help you and that you must come see him, my child. You need to stop this lifestyle." "But this lifestyle is what's been feeding us, Mom," Amara retorted, then paused, considering her next words. "Wait, let me call my friends. They told me about a powerful healer in another village. They say he's helped them meet wealthy men in the city. Let's try him." The next morning, before dawn, they made their way to a secluded hut, draped in red and white fabrics and filled with intimidating statues. The air turned cold as they entered, their skin prickled with goosebumps. A mysterious figure with long white hair, his face hidden, greeted them, walking backwards before sitting down. "Remove your shoes," he commanded, and they obeyed, kneeling on the hot dirt floor. Amara placed a stack of cash in a calabash in front of them. "Speak, child. What troubles you?" Debia asked. As Amara began her story, Debia suddenly interrupted. "Stop! My bones have shown me all. You've encountered a ritualist, correct?" Amara nodded, taken aback by his knowledge. Without further discussion, Debia handed her a packet. "Bathe with this for a week, and all your problems will vanish." "But," Amara started. "No buts. I am the most powerful Debia. Do as I say," he insisted firmly. Amara and her mother left quickly, feeling both relieved and unsettled. Back at home, Amara followed Debia's instructions and bathed with the mixture. Meanwhile, back in the city, Chief Obi noticed his fortune declining. His businesses were failing, and his once loyal clients were leaving. He and Ngozi, alarmed and confused, visited their own Debia for answers. "You foolish couple," the Debia scolded them after listening to their concerns. "Did I not warn you? No one must witness your rituals." "But we've been careful," Chief Obi protested. "Only Amara knows, and Ikwesu dealt with her." The Debia shook his head, showing them a vision in his mirror of Amara describing her ordeal to him. "See? The secrets are out. I have dealt with her just for now, but you must act or you will lose everything." This revelation left Chief Obi and Ngozi in a state of panic, realizing the full implications of their secrecy being compromised. The Debia, very angry, asked Chief Obi and Ngozi to repeat the rules of the ritual out loud. He wanted to make sure that they understood how important it was to keep the ritual a secret. As they spoke the rules, their voices filled with worry, knowing they had somehow failed to keep their secret safe. Number 1, a beautiful woman must be provided for Ikwesu every full moon for him to lay with her. Number 2, we must not have children, as the wealth isn't generational, but tied to only the both of us. Number 3, I, Chief Obi, must not sleep with any woman except for my wife Ngozi. Number 4, no one must witness the rituals being performed except the both of us. The Debia listened closely, his stern face showing how serious the situation was. He reminded them that any break in secrecy could lead to blood spill, not just for them, but for everyone involved. He then explained the consequences of their carelessness. because you failed to keep the secret, you've lost parts of your business," he said. His voice was firm, indicating the gravity of their situation. "Moreover, to correct this mess, you must offer a sacrifice, and that sacrifice must be Amara." He continued, "As for now, I have taken care of Amara. She has lost her sanity, and her mother, seeing her condition, will be too frightened to talk about what happened. She didn't witness Ekwensu, so she's not a threat." The Debia's words filled Chifobi and Ngozi with a deep sense of dread. Chifobi and Ngozi were busy making plans to make Amara disappear for good. At the same time, back in the village, Amara started going insane, looking at the walls aimlessly and laughing at herself all day. This worried her mother, and once again she called the prophet, who prayed for Amara, and soon Amara became sane. The priest told Amara that the snake from the ritual had taken her womb and good luck. He said the snake must be killed through prayer to reverse everything back to its sender, and he and Amara needed to fast to fight back spiritually. But Amara, angry and wanting revenge, misunderstood the priest. She thought he meant killing the snake physically. So, she went to the city. Her mother did not know where she went and was very worried. In the city, late at night, Amara and a friend drove to Chifobi's beach house by a hidden backyard smaller gate. They parked far from the house, and Amara climbed over the wall and got inside without the guards seeing her. She knew the room she needed to go to, and she immediately tiptoed upstairs to that bedroom. She opened the red door and found the heavy pot with the snake, but couldn't lift it alone. She called her friend on her phone, and together, struggling and sweating, finally managed to carry it out of the house. What they did not know was that the house had cameras. Chifobi and Ngozi saw everything on their phones and rushed to the house. Amara and her friend managed to get the pot into the trunk of their car, but in their haste, the lid shifted slightly. As they struggled to close the trunk properly, headlights appeared, signaling the arrival of Chifobi and Ngozi. Panicking, Amara and her friend jumped into the car and sped off, just as Chifobi's vehicle started to follow them. A high-speed chase ensued. During the chaos, the pot in the trunk opened, and Ekwensu, the snake, slithered out and fell onto the road. In a tragic turn, Chifobi's car ran over Ekwensu, killing it instantly. Furious over the loss of Ekwensu, Chifobi and Ngozi became relentless. They chased Amara's car to a bridge, ramming it from behind and then shoving it towards the edge. Meanwhile, the Debia, observing all this from his shrine, was struck by a heart attack in his fury. As both cars neared the bridge, Amara and her friend managed to leap out just before the car tumbled off the bridge. Unfortunately, Amara suffered a severe injury, resulting in the amputation of her leg. Chifobi and Ngozi lost control of their car, which also crashed and caught fire. After all this, Amara went back to her village in a wheelchair. She needed someone to look after her and was no longer the person she used to be. She became almost invisible to those around her, living a very different life as a motivational speaker, warning kids in high schools about the dangers of such lifestyle. The end.